All right, welcome to Roleplay Cafe. We're not going to dilly or dally here. We're going to jump right into the game. Jason and I playing Dark Age of Man.
Right behind me.
There you go.
That's one of the comic strip panels for the upcoming book.
Yep.
By
Look
Derek.
forward to it. All right, here we go. Jason, I guess you go ahead and start this.
Right? Oh, so we're going to try, just so those viewing know right off the bat, we're going to tag team GM, which means I'm going to run Dell's character through an adventure, and then there'll be times where we're going to tag up and we're going to screen swipe, and I will become my character and he will GM me my character somewhere else in the world of England. So we're actually going to show how with Dark Age of Man, you can actually have multiple GM swaps, right? So I'm going to roll first for the random seed for Dell's adventure. The first random seed, 3 dice 6. Huh. All right. All right. Cool. Okay, so in Cagnelia of Spain, you have been traveling up from the south since you arrived in this country, a foreigner. You have worked your way up from London through the River Thames, up Dredge, spent some time in Dredgewater, and you have traveled north to the foothills of Northwich. As you pass into the country of Northwich, headed north, only you know why you are motivated to do so. But along your path, you have stumbled across the Sea Peoples. It is spring, and they have just recently taken the city of Barlestown. It is a small city and manor. It holds a gentleman you have heard called Agnar the Wicked. He is the chieftain of the Sea Peoples. Rumor has it that he holds Barlestown, awaiting reinforcements from a larger Northman army in which they will march on Badenburg, which is where you currently find yourself now, in the city of Badenburg, not 10 miles from Barlestown. In the region, there have been Vikings, Northmen seen all around the region. They are harassing travelers. They are trying to restrict all travel in every direction. And so, therefore, you have been somewhat sequestered in Badenburg this last few days.
Okay. I am asking around, trying to find the mayor of the town. And I go to the Grand Hall and approach the man standing there underneath the door. Good sir, may I speak with your lord?
Who are you and what business? Do I hear an accent?
My name is Incognelia. I wish to seek passage north of here to Rising. I must need get there in a hurry.
Well, you are free to pass, but beware the Northmen are about all over the hills. If they get you, you will not get any aid from us.
This is indeed why I need to speak with your lord. Please let me enter.
Let's go ahead and make a prestige check for seek audience here.
Goodness, 18.
Okay, yeah, he looks you up and down, circles you. He says you will have to leave your stick and your pack mule here at the gate.
My pack mule, maybe, but you wouldn't take a stick from an old man, would you? And I hold my stick up and kind of shake my hand and put it back down and let my robe fall over it. And I kind of look at him again.
Yes, go through the large doors, all the way back through the.
I grunt a little bit and I bow to him, and I grunt a little bit, stoop shouldered as I walk away from him, and I go, "Boy," the boy I'd hide, "please take my mule to the stables," and I walk inside, and look around the great hall, and
yeah, it's a wooden structure, 2 stories high. large tables in this main room. Many of these English manners, the few you've seen since entering the country appear to be relatively the same. Large, great rooms with bed chambers on the second
Yeah.
floor, usually an open room, a view into the second level. And you know that the chamber of the Lord is generally on the ground floor, up some stairs into another chamber in the back from the main door. You know that the alderman of Badenburg is Gerald of Badenburg. He is the Lord, Gerald. So you know of him, you've heard of him, you haven't met him, but you know who the Lord is.
Okay,
So
I look
seeking
around for a
Gerald.
cleaning maid and beckon her over. Please, miss, take me to your Lord Gerald.
Yeah, she looks at you and grunts and starts to lead the way. Doesn't say anything to you, but
Okay.
leads you that way toward the large room.
Okay, I'm following her, and my walking stick is tapping across the flagstones, causing the echo in the place as I make my way up, grunting a little bit as I do. And I take the turn, and I wait outside the door as she enters and lets him know I'm there.
Yeah, she raps hard on the door twice. It pulls open of its own accord. She doesn't touch it. You realize that's because somebody on the other side of the door has pulled it open. He steps out in whispered tones and he says, Matilda, you know not to disturb when the door is closed, as the Lord is in session with visitors.
I'm sorry,
grunts.
it is not the
She
girl's.
grunts.
It is not the girl's fault. It is mine, Gerald. Incognalia, I seek audience with Gerald, please.
And he steps out and closes the door behind him, so the conversation doesn't interrupt the Lord in the other room. And you hear raised voices behind him, as someone there's some raised conversation behind him in the chamber.
Okay.
And he shuts the door. You hear it cuts the noise of the raised conversation down, and he looks and says, "What on what business?"
I seek passage north to Rising, and I wanted your Lord's leave, as well as if he desires that I take any message to the Lord of Rising, maybe perhaps asking for aid. I know
you are a wise man. You are a foreigner, but yet you seem to carry an understanding of the etiquette of high standard. You're a wise man. Come, but refrain from interruption. Come and stand. Refrain from interruption while the Lord speaks. And he cracks the door and ushers you in first, and he follows you in, shuts the door. You come in and see a large room. There are tapestries pulled over the shades, and it just allows streams of sunlight in. You can see the dust float about in the air, and you can see sitting on an elevated platform on a chair. This is clearly Lord Gerald. 2 steps down from him is an animated gentleman. He is waving his hands about. He's wearing a cape. He's clearly garbed in high quality robes, and he has some wealth about him. He waves his hands about, yells at Gerald. This must be done as the King Osterman of Northwich expects it to be done, Gerald, and you will do such, or it could be the end of Badenburg. You will fall like Barrelstown. And he's kind of starts pacing as Gerald eyes him and whispers something you can't hear from this far back. Gerald's in a very calm tone. He's not.
Yeah, I've already taken a knee and went down with my staff like that and averting my eyes while they speak, but I'm listening keenly.
Gerald looks up to you can see from this distance, he squints into the darkness where you're at, and he says, Bojen, who interrupts this meeting? And you're the gentleman that lets you in, shuffles out into the sunlight, and he says, we have a visitor, a foreigner who seeks your audience, my lord. And he then motions you to step forward.
Okay, I grunt and haul myself up on the stick, and I move forward to the center of it, and I bow and try to almost go down again. And I look up at him and say, my lord.
Stand, rise.
Okay.
Who are you?
I am Incognalia from the lower countries, Spain. I've come here not more than a month ago. I attempt to head to Rising.
Make a luck check for me real quick. You need a 9 or better.
Nope, that's a 4.
Okay.
Okay.
He listens. Go ahead.
I attempt to pass to Rising, but I can see your lands are besieged with barbarians. The sea peoples. We have no problems from them where I'm from, but they seem to be the scourge of your area. And I beg of you, my lord, I wish to pass, and perchance I can carry some message from you if you need help from your neighboring countrymen.
This other nobleman who was yelling at Gerald looks at you and says, see, and this is the man that will deliver the message that you will raise the fjords in aid for Northwich. You even have a man who has declared he will be the messenger. Gerald sticks a finger up to hush him. I have not decided yet whether we will raise fjords on behalf of the king. Stand quiet, Lord Ramey. And this guy, again, now that you can see him up close, he's a young man, probably 24, long hair, well kept. He's clean. He wears some facial hair that is actually maintained in shape. And he carries a signet ring, beautiful robes, a cape, carries on his hip a nice saber. And he frowns, wrinkles his nose at Gerald's putting him in his place. Gerald is much less refined.
Okay, but still, I don't pay attention to the man. It was like he didn't say a thing. Okay, I'm letting him say what he says, and I look at Gerald and I say, "Of course, we defer to your wisdom. I'm only here to serve, if indeed you deem it unnecessary. What I can do, as the young man says. Granted, you lend me a guide."
He says, Ramey, go and refresh yourself, eat. We will talk again later. And Ramey sighs heavily, turns with a bit of a flourish and stomps out, makes as much noise on the wood floor as he can in boots. And they pull the doors open at the end for him. You see him leave. He stands. He's fairly tall, about 6'5", lean. He walks down towards you, steps off the final platform. Again, I don't know how big you are, but he is a large man. He's probably 32, 34.
Yeah,
he motions you over to
now.
Okay. So he's looking down upon you. He motions politely over to a table to his left, where you can see there's a tankard and fruit and a meat and cheese. Please, traveler, have a seat.
Okay, I made my way over there and sit down and do audible grunts while I'm doing, like I'm aching a little bit. Yes, thank you, my liege.
He sits with you. He waves his servants away, and then he reaches and pours himself some wine. He looks at you for approval, as if asking, "Do you want wine?"
Yes, I bow my head.
He pours a cup full, sets it down, and then says, "Please help yourself."
Okay.
Help yourself.
I drink, not overly greedily in front of him, but I do have a little bit of I'm minding my manners, so to speak, and I set the cup down. And,
you have an accent. You are not from our country, clearly. Where are you from? Portugal?
Oh, my liege.
Spain?
Spain is where I hail from. I disembarked not more than a month ago on your shores, and I seek trade.
There's what kind of trade?
I seek to set up a source of trade to trade back with my country. The tin and Rising, I've heard, could be utilized to make bronze, which is in a desperate need for my country. And
Spain has no tin mines. Hmm. Are you in this country on behalf of a lord then, in search of such
I was given
commodities?
leave by my lord. Yes, yes, I was. And I produced this paper that allows me to travel.
Yeah, he just nods and accepts it. He knows exactly what you're
Yeah,
willing to show him. He nods and accepts it. No,
I'll,
put it
I'll fold
away.
it back up and bow my head again.
It is but polite conversation. Being here in the foothills of Norwich, I rarely see foreigners. I rarely get to speak with others from the world. 10, you say it rising. Well, rising is indeed. It has made its wealth via the mining of tin. I know not of its condition, but you're certainly free to travel north at your own leave. Now, I will warn you, the main road north of here has been blocked by rockfall and mudslide. It will not be an easy travel. And of course, it sounds as if you are already aware the Northmen surround us in the region. It may be very dangerous for a lone old man to travel with the Northmen about.
Indeed, my liege. I look to gain some assistance and probably some guide that would take me to Rising. Yeah, I'm but an unassuming old man, and I don't pose a threat to these barbarians yet, and I do not think that they would honor my uh, status as you would. They're a bit uncivilized.
They are foreign invaders. They have taken the town of Barrelston. They certainly will not honor you. They do not honor our lands, our borders, our towns, our people. You would be yet another victim in their wake. Yes. Be careful of them.
This is what I thought. And if they've gone as far north as Rising, I don't know what chance I have of establishing the tin trade there if they've taken that over as well. But
there may be hunters and men about here in the foothills in Badenburg that might be a guide for you around the road, the mudslide road, that might well know a way.
Yes.
I cannot recommend one as of, and then he's interrupted by the banging upon the door you came in.
Yeah.
It swings open and a woman approaches and he stands and looks and he goes, who interrupts me in my dining with counsel? And as she enters the light, he sees it's somebody obviously familiar to him. Oh, yes. He stands. What is it? Hold on, I've got a name here somewhere. Merelda. What is it, Merelda? Why do you interrupt me? Forgive me, your lord, but it has come to our attention that the well, the Badenburg well, has dried. There is no water pulled from the buckets. He steps back, frowns. That cannot be true, Merelda. Where did you hear such rumors? And she looks back, waves a young girl up and a couple of peasants, and they come in about halfway. He stops them before they get too close. And she says, these people come. They are with a mob of residents, all of which cannot pull water from the well. He frowns. We must find the architect and find out. Tell the people we will do what we can to remedy this. If we must, we will have to send people to the river to establish fresh water. But go. We will organize this. As she turns on her heel and she takes these peasants with her out, they slam the door behind. And he's not facing you. He stepped away from the table, talking to her in the middle of the room. So his back is to you. Nobody else interferes while he stands there. He turns slowly around, looking at the floor. And then he looks back at you. This may be a major dilemma for my people.
Yes.
And he
indeed, sir. The savages, do you think that they conjure some curse upon your kingdom? With their coming, they've dried up your well. They've They've taken your land. I see maybe that Rising, if these hordes take over Rising too, this could not afford either of your kingdoms.
Right.
A combination of the two. If I can get word to the king in Rising, maybe you can cut the snake in half.
We are troubled by the king's man. You saw him when you came in. The king wants us to raise a fjord and march north to protect the main city. Not realizing we would be abandoning our own people and our own towns to these invaders.
Yes, the invaders, it looks like they will come to meet you in town. Maybe perchance that you should build, not that I myself know tactics, but a defensive position. Maybe some traps. Maybe some way to hold them off. I know not what, but it doesn't look like the tide is turning too quickly.
Yes, this is there is too much wrong of late. The mudslides that have closed the road, the invaders that harass our travelers, and now our well is dry. As you can see, we have walls. We have our palisade walls. They are in good stead. We do have defenses. I think we can hold from siege, but without fresh water, we are doomed. We will not survive long. If you are to ride, do you have horse?
But a pack mule.
Yes. He says, eat. I will return in a moment. Go ahead and eat. I shall return in a moment. He calls one of his maids over and whispers to her, and he looks up and says, she will take care of any needs you have. I must go and gather my counsel before we make any decisions. Good man, you may well be someone who can aid me in these trying times if you are willing to travel north. But let me go and fetch my counsel.
But at your service, and then I'll sit down and start subbing. Then we switch over.
We will screen swipe,
right,
and fade over to UGM.
There you go.
My character. That's a good spot to do a little squeeze, a little Star Wars screen swipe fade there.
All right. What's your character's name again, Jess?
Tarful. Tarful of Dredgewater Downs.
Okay.
That was, by the way, those are 3 seeds in that first scene. You ran into 3 seeds.
Oh yeah. Just got to figure out.
That's
which
pretty
one
awesome.
to attack it.
3 seeds came up. Bang, bang, bang.
I know, we're already on your first one. So, Tarful, you know the area of Dredgewater. In fact, you've taken it as your town. You left London at the expense of becoming an outlaw and losing your head, potentially. So you're in Dredgewater Down. Have you taken that as your surname? And you have been here for how long has it been now?
It would have been a few years.
A few years so far.
Yeah, banging around the whole region, trying not for anybody to actually figure out my past outside of what I've told them.
Yeah, so you're trying to carve yourself a new future in Dredgewater Downs.
Yep.
And the amount of friends that you made, I guess, suffice you enough to, and where you can live off the land and have enough coming at you as far as in trade and mercantile to subsist.
I have worked for Von Mort as a mercenary.
Yes, well,
and I have few friends, minor villains that aid me when I am in need.
Yeah. So where are you at this moment?
I'm hanging out at Gold Leaf Inn, eyeballing people who might be a little lazy with their belongings. As I am a minor villain, I might well help myself to a mislaid baggage or mislaid coin purse or mislaid weapon or
The innkeep has been eyeing you suspiciously, and I'm assuming you're at the table getting a drink every once in a while, but whenever they come over, they'll slide it, and you notice it's rather obvious and meant to be so that they've got their eye on you. So you've been there for a while trying to case the joint as it was, and you don't see any kind of relevant moment. He seems to be, or she, who's the proprietor of the Gold Leaf.
Oh gosh, it's our own book. We should know.
I know. I could.
I want to say, let me pull up our book. Can you believe it? I've been writing on this thing for weeks, and I cannot recall. That's what happens when I've been working on so much stuff. Our new book. Here's our new layout. Let me go down here to The People of Dredgewater. It is Samantha Pratt.
Samantha. I was thinking she was in Blackwater. Okay. I mean, the Black Leaf. Okay. Samantha keeps eyeing you from her position. And it seems that she's worried about her customers and the name of her place. And you're not very befitting of her establishment. So Samantha Pratt has you eyed. As you do, there are several people coming through. There's not, in supping and leaving, it's about the middle of the day right now. And you've been in there for a while, but right now the traffic is thinning out and leaving. A couple of people have gone up to their rooms, and she is not. In fact, right now she's sitting behind the bar, just staring at you.
I stand and I approach, I mean, obviously she knows me and I know her.
Yeah.
They've all seen me around for years. And I come to the bar and I pull out of my backpack, set it down, and I rummage out. Tied to the bottom of it is a rabbit that I had killed earlier in the day, and I slide that to her and I say, "Here, Samantha, calm yourself. I shall give you this fresh rabbit. Just relax yourself, Samantha."
Okay, she grabs it and slides it over, and turns her head and looks at the cooking girl. Girl, come fetch.
But
Your wiles won't work on me.
But Samantha, for such a fine coney, maybe there is someone who is carrying some baggage that they no longer need.
Baggage.
And I mean, none of your
honey
customers.
tongue.
None of your customers. Of course, none of that stay here, Samantha. I would never harass your own people, but there has to be someone about that you.
You better not mess with my clientele. Roll the dice.
No. That's why I ask you, who has come through today that might need an aid of a young.
Roll the dice. We'll see.
What am I adding to it?
Add luck.
Ooh, good. 14 total.
Oh, well, not quite, but you didn't survive that much.
But I mean, good. Luck's two. My luck's two.
I know you. And she goes. She looks like she's almost about to speak, and she goes, "I better hold my own tongue." Mm-hmm. Girl, cook up that coney. I'll serve you some if you like.
Okay. All right, Samantha. So you don't mind if I have a seat here and rest my feet?
You can sit as long enough as you need to sup, but then you must be gone. You provide a foul odor in this place. I cannot have my clients breathing you in, or you looming around their purses.
I shall sit by the door, Samantha. Thank you. And I'll go over to the door, sit, waiting for a tankard and cooked a bit of chicken.
Yeah.
I mean,
that rabbit.
Coney. Yeah.
Yeah. To bring back a brace of coney, and it's a little piece of it, and but it's good. It's steaming. It's well up, and by the time you finish it, it fills you up, and you just don't get to fill her up, but you're sitting there, and it's about an hour later, and nobody else has came in there, and she's a little bit more relaxed. She's working over at the fireplace right now. That's around the kettle.
So I'll stand and I will, bang the table to get her attention, and I'll nod as I wave out as I head out the door. I'm assuming it's becoming mid-afternoon, late afternoon.
She's walking to you before you get to the door, okay?
Oh.
And then she'll grab you and turn you around.
Yeah.
And she whispers, "Don't be a stranger," and leans up and almost kisses your cheek, and then turns around and pushes you out, right? Out the door.
You are but a wench, Samantha, although you are.
She winks at you over her shoulder, and then the door closes. All right.
So I look about the front area of Dredgewater from her the stoop of this elevated inn. I look down toward the stockades to see if there's anybody hanging in the stockades. I look about for strangers.
There's an old man in the stockades, and there's light traffic. There's a couple of vendors out to the side. You recognize it. You hear the clinging of the blacksmith off in the distance. The man in the stockade seems really frail, emaciated, and he seems to be in pain for some reason. He keeps lifting up his leg and his hip and howling and trying to jerk out needlessly, pointlessly against the stocks.
I'll head down that direction. When I come to the stock, I'll lean down and try to make eye contact with this wretch.
Okay, you look up and his eyes are white, and he obviously can't see you. Who is there? Who? And then he stops, and his head starts bobbling, and it's like he catches and he focuses in on you as you're sitting there. Oh, it's you. And then he smiles. Death awaits. Death. And he starts cackling and everything and laughing so hard, and he's jerking back up against the stock, and it almost rocks a little bit. Okay. And he's still mumbling and giggling under his voice, even though right now it's literally like 10 minutes. He's just wrapped up in this hysteria.
Death awaits, old man, but not for me, I'm afraid. You are crazy. And I will move away.
You'll see.
I will move away, looking about for the opportunity to I'm going to need better equipment. So I'm looking about for an opportunity to maybe get some.
Okay. As you look around, you hear some clomping of hooves and in the mud, and horses, and they stepping over the planks that are leaving, and the horses are literally like in this mud and muck, going down almost to where it's hard for them to pull out and gain any kind of ground. And the men on top of them, it's almost like they're in surprise that these horses are stuck in this mud. They didn't anticipate this as they're trying to ride through town, and they're cursing and raising Cain. There's 3 of them, right? They look to be somewhat soldiery, mercenary type, if you had to guess.
Recognizable tabards, markings?
No, not so.
Never seen them before.
Yeah, never seen them before. And they have more of a piecemeal type garbled equipment. He looks like, it's definitely
You there. You would be better served to walk your horses through Dredgewater.
Shut your damned mouth! And he's tilting the horse, and the horse halfway stumbles forward. And he's goosing the horse and the horse is trying to get out of the mud.
Okay.
Seems to be going a little bit further, and it falls over, and he falls over into the mud halfway. And the other 2 men are laughing at him, and you're standing there looking at him too.
Yeah. They're not stuck in the mud, the other 2?
No, they are, just not to the degree that he got it a little bit deeper than them. They're a little bit more.
Well, I'll go over to and take the reins of his horse, and I will try to lure the horse out of the mud.
Okay.
I'll leave him to wallow around in the mud, but I'll try to lure his horse up and out of the mud.
Okay, go ahead and roll that dice for me.
I don't know what I'm adding, but
add. Well, it depends on how you want to. Well, if you want to coax the horse, or if you want
I've taken its reins and I'm trying to walk it out of the mud.
More so
without
than
my
pulling, right?
right. Coax it out. Yep.
Yeah. So it would add spirit to that.
Okay. 9.
9.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. It looks, it's halfway in the mud, almost up to the thigh. It's been lodged in forward in his forward haunches to the side, and his neck's halfway stuck in the mud and coming out. It's pitiful the way it sounds, bleeding
Sure.
and laying on his side, right? And he fell off on the other way. His leg is halfway trapped underneath the horse, and
Mhm.
he's half buried in the mud. He's trying to kick his head out of the mud. The other two are getting off the horse. Cyrus, you've gone down again. Get your ass up. And they're walking over there and they're trying to haul him up, and they're sinking in the mud a little bit more too. The horse he's going, get me down the horse. Get the horse off me.
Mhm.
So they,
So I abandoned this horse. I dropped the reins as I haven't been able to coax it from the mud.
yeah.
While all 3 of them are working on getting their friend out, I will make my way over to their horses and eyeball their saddlebags and any equipment they may have left unattended here.
Okay. Give me a roll and add your mind to it. Or
Mind?
yeah.
12's my roll.
Okay. Yeah. You see actually out the side of a saddlebag, a paper parchment, which you know is a little bit expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And the bag is not fully tied. It's only tied in one loop and the other was loose. But it's easy to get your hand in there quickly enough.
Under the feign that I'm
Yeah.
taking the reins of his horse as if I'm going to help the horse and keep it from getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'll put a hand up like toward its rump, like I'm going to steer the horse around, and I will help myself to that parchment and try to slide it into my tunic
Okay.
of my traveling garb.
Okay.
While I coax their horse away from this mess.
Okay. All right. You do so. Was you already rolled, right?
Yeah, I rolled a. Well, you want
12.
me to roll again?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay.
You slip that through. You slip that through, and you've seen it. They're too busy pulling him and on the horse to really notice. And it looks like they got a job in front of them. All right. The blacksmith, you can hear him over there tinging, and he's looking out there and he's shaking his head and he's kind of laughing as they're dragging almost hopelessly on that. You did manage to get a small purse with that as well. The string you felt when you pulled out the parchment and a small purse. Okay. All right. About as big as a baseball. So you pocket that and do whatever you want.
Well, at this point, if they're busy trying to help their friend and horse out, I will just make my way north, past the Blackleaf Inn, past the church, out into the edge of the small village, out into the trees somewhere, and I'll find a secure spot among the brush and the trees to investigate what I have been able to lift from these travelers.
Okay. All right. So you're going to you find a space, a clearing, and you perch yourself down in it, north. And let's say you're by the river almost, the river's edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Since you're at the Blackleaf, right?
Sure.
You're resting under that tree, and you open it up, and the parchment is a message from Von Mort. These guys seem to be an emissary from him. All right.
Okay.
And you would know this, that basically an assault or any kind of a theft of the emissary is like doing that to Von Mort himself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this would literally make your heart sink. Now, while you're reading this, though, I want you to roll a D20 and add your mind to it. No, hold on. Add your luck to it. All right.
18.
Dang. Okay. You made it. This is what you're when you're sitting there reading. even though this is going to be like a bucket of cold water to your face. Okay.
Yeah.
You've taken this, you feel something on your shoulder, you notice it. It was slight. And then when you see it, you'll see a vine come down.
Okay.
And start to loop underneath your neck and go around your neck. You see it as a vine from above. This drop down, this coiled around you, and you also see a couple more that are hanging around you.
Okay.
Like 3 vines in your immediate area. Now we can pause there and come back to me if you want to.
Sure. We'll pause with me
Okay.
reading a parchment under
it was Von Moore's
duress.
messenger.
Right. All right. Okay, so
That's hilarious.
Gerald leaves you for about 45 minutes. You have probably ate to your full. These people have watched you, but they've left you be. You know they're around. They removed some of the dirty dishes.
Yeah, I've loosened my little belt around my waist.
Right. He returns now changed. He's now garbed in a little more official capacity. He's not wearing his daily clothes. He's put on a long robe.
I stand up really quickly. I hear the chair squeak as I stand up and I bow and try to situate myself a little bit.
Yeah. He says, Ethel and Bandage, this is Incognalia. He is a man from Spain. Come in, come over. And he brings you over to their, it's kind of a standing table. It's too high to sit for dinner, but it's something you stand at. And they roll out a map and they put candles on either edge and a bowl and a crack to keep it from rolling up. And he says, Bandage, this man says he wants to get to Rising, and he slides his hand over the map and points out Rising, and he says, you can see here in Cognalia that you are probably 4 days north into the mountains and the crags directly from Badenburg. You will not be able to go through the Rhone. Bandridge here, and he looks and he eyes you up and down pretty good, hasn't said anything yet. Probably not convinced that you're going to be capable of doing anything for them, but whatever his lord says is what goes.
Yeah.
He nods and he says, yes, there is a man in town who can lead you. He should be able to find you through those crags and mountains to
Bless
Rising.
You, sire. Bless you.
Yes. But we here is the deal. You will take Efeld with you. Efeld with you.
Okay.
And he is going to take a small group of men with you, and then abandon you at some point at Rising to head north for the king, with word of our denial of raising feuds on behalf of his defense. We have our own problems, but you need not concern yourself with that. But they will go with you as far as this break here, and he points out on the map in Bainbridge. At this point, Bainbridge has kind of walked away because he's already told you he knows somebody who can help you. And they all nod as he nods as he points it out. Efeld, and Efeld goes, yes, I know it. So he turns, pulls a parchment and a quill, and scribbles something out, rolls it, blows off, then seals it, hands it to Efeld, and say, this is my word to the king, that we will do no such thing but protect our own lands right now. And he takes it and stuffs it in his pocket, and he blows out, I just hope the king doesn't shoot the messenger. And he nods and says, Gerald, you'll need that sense of humor to get through this. Ride carefully, take 4 men, 4 horses, equip this man in Cognalia and the hunter scout with horses as well. Be aware of these North raiders that are surrounded the area. He nods and he looks at you and Cognalia. He says, meet us at the front gate. We will have your horse. And then he turns and he's on his way. Efeld's on his way. Bainridge walks over and says to you, follow me. I will take you to the man.
Yes, sire. So I follow him.
As he starts to lead the way out, Gerald says to you, "It has been a pleasure meeting you, man of Spain."
Hey, the pleasure was all mine, Leash.
God be with you in your travels.
Yes,
then
indeed. And I cross myself and look up.
You see him out of the corner of your eye go back to the table and sit where he was eating with you until you were interrupted.
Yeah, I pause for a second and look at him, and then wishing, say a little prayer that he hold fast. I think, maybe an erroneous move, and then I turn around on my heel and walk out to gather my belongings and meet him at the gate.
Okay. Bainbridge takes you out the front steps of the manse, down into the streets of Badenburg, and again you see now there are many peasants. There were not when you came into town. In near town center, there are lots more. There seems to be a lot of energy here. It's not a positive energy. As you pass by people, you hear some crying. You hear them bemoaning that the well is dry. You hear people scrambling. There's some concerns. You get the sense that there's some serious tension here among the locals now that the well is dry in the heart of the city.
The people are in the distress, and I'm talking to my mule as I'm pulling him. Okay, toward meeting.
Bainbridge thinks you're speaking to him. Yes, and really they should be. We have lost water, and we are surrounded by Northmen. We should all be greatly distressed, but never fear, you will be on the move out of here soon. And he points his way as he walks you through the streets, past the peasants, and he takes you to a little grotto not far from the back entrance of Badenburg, where you see in the distance Elfweld and 4 other soldiers with horses waiting for you. There's a man leaning here. He's in furs. He's probably 30 years old. He's in furs. He has a bow. He carries a pack, and he's whittling with a dagger or something. And he looks up and steps forward. Bainbridge, is this the man that wants to go to Rising?
Okay, I nod to him. Indeed, sir.
Yeah.
Are you the man to guide me?
I am, yes. Bainbridge says, "This is Martin. He knows these foothills and this wilderness better than any hunter. You will be in good hands, right, Martin?" And Martin smiles and he says, "Well, he doesn't look as though he can move very quickly. I will not be caught among the Vikings if this man cannot move quickly."
He can move quick enough when I need to, sir, but you can trust me. If you get me there, it'll be worth your time, no matter how long it takes.
Good. Before you, so Martin starts to head with his horse over to the others. Then we best get off before it gets dark. Bainbridge stops you and turns you toward him, grabs your shoulder and turns you toward him. And he fishes out a scroll, and he says, "This to the King of Rising. This to the King of Rising."
Okay, I'll look both ways to make sure nobody's looking, and I take it and, put it in my bag. It will get there, sir.
That is
all
on
my
behalf.
life.
That is on behalf of Lord Gerald here. It is a call of aid. So we definitely want you to reach Rising.
Indeed.
And he pulls up a sack and he says, "Here, cheese, apples for the trek." And he hands you a bag of rations, cheese and apples.
I strap it on.
Bread.
I strapped it onto the horse. I mean the mule. And I look at my guide and say, "Shall we be off?"
Yeah. And Martin saddles up and spurs his horse over to the gate. They all see him coming over, so they start getting on their horses. As they swing the gates open. It's a beautiful spring day. It's getting on late afternoon as you all ride out of these. This would be the north gates into the greater foothills of the land of Northage.
Okay.
Martin go ahead.
No, I'm going to try to keep up with them. Did they give me a horse too?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody. There's Alfred, 4 soldiers, you and Martin. So there's what, 7 of you?
Yeah, I've got Bill tied to the back of the horse. So
Yep. Okay.
I'm pulling him up.
And Martin kicks out in front and tells everybody to follow close because these trails are not marked and they will require sure riding. And they kick off out and he picks up the pace a little bit. You can see all the soldiers, horses. Some of them appear to be good horsemen. Others struggle. At least 3 times along this journey, you will struggle with a horse. You're going to have to make a body check for me twice, as the horse has footing issues and is somewhat nervous in these tight spots and this not so well paved, not so well worn track, right?
Gotcha.
So I need you to make a body check for me of 13 plus.
I rolled a 12.
Okay, so at one point the horse gets loose from you, rears, and you'll slide off the horse and tumble down as the horse whinnies and scoots. You'll take a slight wound as you come down hard, maybe on an elbow or a shoulder, taking a wound. The horse calms once it's got its footing. Martin circles back around, comes down the trail and says, "You old man."
I'm grasping my shoulder or whatever. Like, there's a little bit of blood you can see through the thing, and I look at myself. I'll be okay. It's just a bruise. Nothing I haven't done before, and I'll try to climb back up on the horse.
Mount up and stay on your steed. We will camp soon. We are not far from a camp, and there I will tend your wound. And he spurs and deftly jumps the horse from side to side of this little arroyo, finds a track, passes the other soldiers back in front as they all watch on as you get back on your horse and go again. It's clear to you part of the trouble your horse is having is Bill being tied to the horse.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to navigate that way.
Right.
All right. Okay. I got a 19 on that one.
Yep. Yeah, you're good. You don't have to make any more rolls
Okay.
through this particular craggy area. About an hour and a half later, as it's starting to get dark, you come to a rise up on top. It's a flat like mesa.
Yeah.
You can look back and oversee the haze of Badenburg. You can see fires burn to the south all along the rivers and into the woods and the forest and the foothills. Having seen this before, but not of this mass. Either Badenburg is a lot more populated than you assumed, or those fires are of camping travelers or Northmen, right?
Okay.
You can just see the smoke and the fires. Hard for you to say whose fires, but it's a lot of them, a lot more than
my eyes are dim somewhat, and I'm looking out there and like, good Lord, the humanity. Does Badenburg burn?
Yeah, Ethelweld walks up to you and looks out. No, those are Northmen fires, the bastards. Look at them, they surround the region. He points out in the far distance to your left and your right. You can see farther south in the direction of Bellstown, where the bastard Agnar the Wicked has taken. We are indeed surrounded. He said, we will have to go with a very moderate fire tonight. However, there's so many fires in the region, nobody will notice probably. He turns to Martin. Martin, a fire, but small. And Martin says, I already know. And he's, you see him building a fire.
Okay, I turn around and look there and see, but on this rise, they will see us for sure. They will know we're working our way around. Okay, I'm getting a little agitated. And trying to go over there and kick it out with the side of my foot, you know what I mean? Kick the dust over.
Martin stands and sticks a hand on your chest. Calm yourself, Incognalia. We need this. We need this
cold.
fire.
It is not cold, and we have apples. We have things we can eat. We don't need to light the area. I fear this.
Yeah, make a prestige check, a 9+.
Okay. 1.
What? Ethelweld walks up. He gets between the two of you. Ethelweld walks up between you and Martin, and he turns directly, almost chest to chest with you, and kind of walks you back away. And he says, "This man is leading you. He knows this forest. We will trust him. If he says we need it, we need it. Calm yourself, Incognalia.
Okay, I feel a little
Meanwhile, let me tend your wound.
All right, I feel a little bit put out, and I sit down on there and embarrassed somewhat as he's tending it.
Yeah.
I wince or whatever.
He pulls your tunic down, starts to doctor your wound a little bit. It hurts like hell as he mashes and pushes.
Yeah.
He fumbles around with it, and to be quite honest with you, you're very aware he hasn't aided you here in any way. He's bandaged it, maybe cleaned it, but you still, it's a deeper wound than you thought, and it's still there, right? It's going to be a few days before this is healed.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he dishes out apples and bread. His men have their own apples and bread and cheese, and everybody sits by this small fire and works. And it gets dark quick once the sun goes down behind the hills.
Yeah.
Now you can see below you in the valley, because you guys have climbed all day out of the into the mountains and the foothills. You can now see orange dots everywhere. There's no way. Martin, at some point in the night, comes to you and sits beside you and nods out there, and he says, "Now you tell me, if you're a Northman, could you tell one fire from another? We are safe. We are one of many fires. They aren't going to notice our fire. Yes. Do you understand now, Martin? I mean, Incognalia."
But the Northwinds, that would be near the seas, not the mountains. I fear I'm not. He's looking at me. There's bags under my eyes. He knows I'm not going to get any sleep tonight, right? So I'm sitting there and I bite into my apple and I half eat it, and I go over there and put it back into the horse's pack. I mean, Bill's pack, his mule pack. And I sit down and visibly nervous. This area concerns me. If we can get to Rising, all the quicker, better. I will try to ride harder and keep up with you.
You will have to, because we have a harder climb tomorrow around an area that has been decimated by a rock slide and mudslides. Much of the area is unstable. You will have to ride sure. Your mule.
My mule is sure-footed. Perchance I should ride him. The horse tied to the mule is not doing us any good.
Yes. No. If you are more comfortable upon a mule, then why ride the mule? The horse will follow the other horses.
Yes, this is wise. All right. I'll try to. I don't have much of anything packed on, Bill. So that's what I'll do the next morning. Not that I've really got any sleep tonight.
He advises you sleep, but I don't know if you do. But if you during the night you hear all the sounds of nature, certainly it's quiet, but there are moments, and of course the snoring of some of the soldiers. You see Martin is up, and he tends to move about the camp from compass point to compass point, and stays for a while watching in certain distance. At some point during the night, again, whether you're awake or not, you hear him as he rouses F-Weld to watch, and then he beds down. And at some point, it's dawn. Sun's coming up. They're awake. They're about. They kick out the fire. They tell you apples with cheese. We do not cook in the morning, and mount up. And Martin, at this point, you hadn't seen Martin when you first get up. He's not been around. And you start without him, and then in about 15 minutes on the trail, you catch up to him as he had already headed north up into the hill. He's coming down toward you when he says, "Yes, this rock slide is bad, but in many ways it may have created a smoother path up and over this range."
I'll reach over and pat Bill. You hear that, boy? Just keep your footing sure, and we follow down.
Yeah. Okay, let me double check this. All right. So he turns and says, "Follow me and be close about, because we do not have much room to maneuver here." And they all follow in line, one after another. Where are you in this train? Are you at the end?
I would want to be at least one before the end. Okay. Somewhere in the middle.
Okay. So you begin this long trek up in the morning. About mid-morning, as you guys come to this area, you can see now where the land looks as if there's been a blanket of rubble and mud. Maybe, I don't know if you would have ever seen anything like this in your life, where it looks as though earth itself folded over. Trees are waylaid, everything. I mean, it literally looks like a mud carpet or earth slide. Pretty remarkable to you, I suppose. I don't know if you've seen anything like it in your life.
No, I wouldn't have, being a port of call mainly. I'm certainly taken by it, but I do express what first thing that hit my. Are we sure that this land is stable to travel on? Will it not break free?
Elfaweld, who overhears this muttering question, says, "Well, it is the only way we go. We have no choice." And he points to the right, to the left. As far as the eye can see, there is no steering around this, I don't believe. And Martin's horse is already up on it and crossing pretty quickly across this. The good thing about it is it's flattened so much of the brush and trees that you've got a clear line of eyesight up the mountain, right?
Okay, yeah, I peer off into the distance of where they used to be, and then I say, "Let us be upon the path then." And I goose bill forward, boy.
Yep.
All right, so he
make a luck check for me, sir. You're gonna need an 18 plus.
I sure didn't get it. I got a 2.
Okay, as you guys are riding up and over this, going a little quicker, you actually see arrows take purchase in 2 of the soldiers on horses in front of you. And they rear, these guys cry out, the horses rear. Martin is so far ahead, he doesn't notice it. Ethelweld turns his horse and circles back. The gentleman that's behind you rides past you saying, "Off your horse," as he passes you. And you see him kick off his horse and drop into the mud and smacks his horse on the butt, sending it up the mountains without him. You hear Ethelweld off his horse. They pull these 2 wounded soldiers down into the ground and smack their horses on the rump. And you hear them yell for Martin, who is not out of earshot, but he's quite a ways away.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I'm pivoting off of the direction. It came from a right, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm pivoting off to leave myself
to the left.
A profile on the horse to where I'm just hugging the side of the horse on the neck, and I'm staying on the horse and letting it and urging it forward to run down the hill.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Make let's make a 10 body check. 10
okay.
up.
6.
Okay. Well, you do, but as the horse picks up speed and hits this ground and this unstable, you feel your feet start to slide off its rump, and you feel one foot hit the ground and the other foot hit the ground as you start to drag your feet. Eventually, you have to let go of the horse's neck and into the mud. Fortunately, it's muddy, soft ground, so you slunk into the mud as the horse continues up into the hills, leaving you laying in the mud. You see now, as you get your wits about you, you see Ethelweld probably has moved 25 yards down the hill with the other soldier, leaving those the 2 laying in the mud that have arrows in them. They're not dead, but they're writhing in the mud about 30 yards from him as he's gone down the hill, and you see he's about to embrace into some kind of combat with Northmen. And it looks about 6 Northmen with shields. They're about 45 yards from you total as you lay in the mud. The guys down the hill are about 15 yards from you, and he's 30 yards further down, about to engage in melee with these.
I'm trying to clamber up the hill as fast as I can, even though my robes are good, probably colorful to my chagrin. And I'm trying to get up to the hill because that parchment, that message is in the horse's belonging or in the mule's belongings right now. So I'm trying to catch up to the mule.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So you can catch the mule. It is your mule. It probably isn't running because it doesn't recognize any particular danger here, right?
Yeah.
So in a few yards, you catch up to your mule. It's standing. The horses are all chasing Martin. Martin again appears to be unaware of what has happened behind him, and the horses are all following Martin's horse.
Okay, and I'm yelling to I get back up on Bill, goosing forward and trying to catch up with Martin and yelling Martin's name.
Okay, so
All
make
right.
another combat roll for me on this turn as you are headed, you're fleeing, I should say.
All right, that is a 10.
Okay, you as you get on the mule and you look back, you see the soldier cut down by these Northmen. You see Ethelweld on his knees. You see the final blow against Ethelweld as these and 4 of these Vikings on foot are trying to chase up the muddy hill after you. You see them stop by the downed soldiers with arrows in them, and they finish them off. But by the time they realize you and those horses and Martin have fully fled, but Ethelweld and the soldiers have clearly
Jeez.
are lost. But you're out of their range. They're not trying to chase you from here. And Martin at some point will stop and wait for you as he realizes he rides back towards you, sees what's happening, and circles you and says, "We must ride quickly." And he spurs his horse further up the mountain.
All right, do we switch?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
Good chapter flip.
And screen wipe as you ride away on your mule into the muddy hillside.
Oh man. All right. Now, as you remember, you were sitting on the bank. You just witnessed this. Just read this parchment, or recognized the parchment with Baron von Mort's insignia on it. That this was his messenger that he had sent with some kind of a statement or a proclamation, and that you now have in your hand. Just then, the vines came down and started. One of them was starting to slip around your throat. You saw them enough as 3 of them were dropping down. You don't have any idea if there's any more behind you at this point in time, but you catch that right then and there. What are you doing?
I am up and scrambling away from it as fast as possible.
Okay, roll with your dex.
Body?
Yeah, yes. Excuse me,
Okay,
body.
17.
17. Sorry.
That's all right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
40 years of.
What game are we playing, man? Dark Age of Man? The OSR?
No. Okay, you got a 17, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. You get away from it. It's like the tendrils of the vines that are hanging down, the creeper vines hanging down from the tree as it's swaying and swooshing past you. Almost, you can feel the breezes as it's missing you, and you duck and dodge away from it. And it's looming like that for a second, and then they fall and drape down like so many willows, like a willow tree, right? And it falls and it's just swaying in the slight breeze beside the river. It looks like untouched. Now I want you to roll. I want you to roll a luck for me. To see
19 on luck.
Okay. Now you look down and it obviously flashes in your brain. You wonder if you left anything. All right, in the parchment in your haste, but you look down and the parchment still squashed up in your hand. And your bags are on you.
Okay.
Right. So no need to go tread back in that.
I have not dropped this in my haste.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I look back down toward Dredgewater proper and toward the chapel, Father Pietro Falcone's church.
Yeah.
And I decided safer to go into the church and into a back pew by a candle and see if I can't read this. So I'm going to head back for the church.
Yeah, and you start walking up the ridge, but you see a little something, and almost you hear it before you see it. Bing, bing, and the people's voices are raising, and you'll see tendrils of smoke coming up, all right, from one of the buildings. And as you go over the rise, and in that direction, you'll see that it's the blacksmith's attachment, basically the little awning that he works under and does his tools. That thatch roof has caught on fire.
Okay.
And the smoke is coming up. Right. You see people running away from it and running to the well and trying to get, the fire brigade going. That's what you're seeing there. All right.
Yeah. So as I walk down the hill, I'll watch I'll stop at some point out front of the church and watch for a while, and then I'll head into the church.
Okay, so you're going through town to get to the church on the other side, basically.
Well, I guess it depends on where. It depends on where. Yeah, I mean, if you say so, I don't know.
Yeah,
It
well,
doesn't
I'm just
matter.
saying Blackwater is, that side of town, but
Sure.
the church is on the other side
Sure.
of there. So yeah, you have to walk through there, and you'll see the fire brigade and people
Yeah.
going crazy. Now the guy is still he's managed to get himself, he's half caked in this mud, and he's looking at in his hysteria, and he's trying to pull his horse out. They've almost got his horse out of this.
Okay.
The other two guys have gotten healthily muddy as they're trying to do this. And he
Right.
glimpses at you and catches at you, and then gives you the evil look as you're going. And then they slap him and pull your reins, and then he's back to work. All right.
Okay.
So other than that, you watch it as they're trying to put out.
Yeah, I'm watching the fire brigade.
Dar Reynolds is out there throwing and trying to
Yeah.
put that stuff down. There's little animals and rats and everything dropping out of the thatch,
Right.
running all over it. Yes, right.
Right.
You make your way through there and make it to the church. All right.
Mhm.
So it's almost over the rise a little bit. It's like you're in acoustic shadow, basically. You don't hear it's a serene little area. It's probably why they picked the church to be here, right? So
Right,
you don't
right.
hear the chaos descends and it just echoes into the back, into
Sure.
nothingness. But you know that clamor's going on.
Mhm.
But you descended into a Pleasant Valley Sunday almost when you're walking down
Okay.
there, right? You see the church is sitting there. You see a couple of the brothers in the back tending to the gardening.
Yeah.
And doing some labor.
Okay. I walk through. Don't speak to any of them, but I watch them, and I walk up to the church, step into the church, wait for my eyes to adjust. I look about to see how crowded. Look for a nice pew or seat somewhere I can sit and pull. Matter of fact, as I pass through, walking toward that seat, I'm going to pull one of these candles out or up and carry it with me as I sit down to read this document.
Yeah, it makes a slight noise. One of the monks is saying, there's only about 3 of them in there. Looks like they're doing prayers. One of them kind of turns his head and glances at you and goes right back to his prayers. All right, so they're in meditation as you walk in there. You sit down to read the document. The document, now, can you read? Is the question.
It's a great question. Boy, that would be.
You recognize his insignia from working with him before, Von Mort,
Yeah, I would say I might know pieces, but I couldn't understand the context.
Give me a roll with mind on it. Let me see if you can discern anything.
10, no mind.
10.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like some of the letters that you could maybe pick out, but you can't make any kind of cohesive knowledge of what those words are.
Pardon me. I'll kind of speak up. It echoes in this little church. Pardon me, Father.
Okay, one of them stands up and breaks his meditation, leans his head and walks over there.
Father, pardon me for intruding upon your prayers, but I need desperately for this to be read. Could you read this for me?
He takes and reaches over and grabs a candle and slides it to give him more on his side of the table. And he takes the parchment and stretches it out and looks at it.
And I sit down on the pew.
Okay. He, as he's reading, you see him stiffen up a little bit. Okay. In his posture. Where it was
I meant
relaxed.
aloud, Father. I need to know what it says.
Okay, he breathes a sigh like that, and he reads the sentence to my dear Baron Washburn. I request an audience with you in a fortnight to discuss trade between our houses and the possibility of a merger of our kin. Yours, and then Baron Washburn.
Mm.
And then he slides it back over and he crosses himself, the monk does. And he rolls up the thing. And he comes back to you. Where did you get this from, my child?
It was unfortunately found in the mud, laying on top of one of the boardwalks out there. I cannot read, and I thought I better check it before it is forever lost. Thank you, Father, for doing
Indeed.
this.
We shall have to take this to Baron Washburn immediately. And we thank you for bringing it to us.
Yes,
He shuffles past you. He's keeping it in his hands
sure.
as he walks on. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's yes, Father. Understood.
Okay. You hear the door. He goes off into a side little chamber, and you hear the door shut. All right.
Okay.
There's only 2 other monks in there, and they're still doing their little prayers.
Okay. I blow the candle out, and I drop it in my tunic, and I keep this little candle as I head out.
Okay. All right.
Out into the street, I'll look about to see how the fire's coming, whether these 3 have removed themselves from the mud and the muck. And then I will. Wow.
Yeah. When you walk out,
Yeah.
you shut the door. There's an echo and then a rumble,
Okay.
and then you'll see a lightning go through the sky and hit on the other side of town, obviously, for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 seconds later, another huge rumble fills, and you can look up, and the dark cloud is moving in over Dredgewater, and you'll see like a sheet of rain just descend automatically, and it's coming your way, not over you, but you can tell that it's moving in that way. So large summer rain.
I smiled to myself thinking, well, this will put out Dar's fire. See, there is always a silver lining.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feebly cross myself as I just came out of the church, as if it's been an act of God that's going to put out that fire for Dar.
Yeah.
And at this point, at this point, I think I'm going to probably head. I'm going to keep a close eye. I won't help them, and I won't get. I don't want to get within their view during the chaos. I will try to take a stance underneath the awning of the Black Leaf Inn and watch these fools and their horses. I want to keep an eye on where they go once they get out of the mud, if they get out of the mud.
Okay. You make your way back there, obviously, over the thing. And you're right. The rain, by the time you get back there, the rain's already moved over and is just slamming into the roof of Dar's. And it's pretty much just moving across. And within like a couple of minutes, it's already all over Dredgewater proper.
Mm-hmm.
And just torrential downpour. They have managed to get that horse out though, and it's upright.
Okay.
And it's stumbling forward, and they're trying to find some place. They're moving. They were close to the blacksmith anyway, so they're trying to move it in there. And it looks like Dar Reynolds is telling them, "No, get out of it. Take your horses over there." So they're struggling like that.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't seemed to notice you yet. All right, but
I get their attention. Here, follow me to this grove. It's a great place for your horses and you. And I'm going to lead them back to the vines.
Okay. All right. They look at you, but it's so heavy of rain that you have to really speak up to get them. It's just
come, and I'm wet. It's raining.
Yeah.
I'll show you where you can go, and follow me.
They're kind of like this, and then they pull the horses and they follow you to the stable area.
I get close enough that I can point out right in there in those trees is some shelter from this wickedness of weather.
Trees. We need stables for our horses. We need a place to bed down for the night.
Right. They are not here.
Bully you. And they turn around and start pulling the horses toward them. They're looking out for any place they can get to. There had to be stables by the Black Leaf Inn or the Gold Leaf Inn, whatever. So they're near the Gold Leaf Inn, so they start making trek toward that area.
Sure.
And when they get there, you see them tying up. After they tie up, they're running inside like that. Tell them they're bringing in Samantha Pratt ain't going to be too happy about that. All that mud in there. So usually standing underneath the tree canopy.
Well, I was more on the road pointing out this grove of trees.
Oh, you're still getting me. You're getting drenched big time. You know. So yeah, you're soaked to the bone right now as it is. All right. So anyway, you stand there, just let your tears intermingle with the rain.
Yeah, well, I'll head to the Blackleaf Inn. They certainly won't mind my kind there. So I'll head over to the Blackleaf Inn and take shelter in the Blackleaf Inn.
Okay. All right.
Once I get in, I'll find a spot to sit, and I'll pull out this bag that I also got from their
You're drenched to the bone, honey. Let me take this off of you. Get these rags off. And the lady, you know, who's working there, one of the locals that have recently attained a job, she's helping strip you down like that. Looks like you need a good hot bath. Can we serve you that and a meal? Put your foot up by the fire. Warm your bones.
I shake the little bag that I got from there. Is there any coin in it?
Yeah, actually there is.
Does it sound like coin?
Yeah, there is.
I smile and I say, absolutely, and a room for the night.
Okay. Yeah, they're setting you up. Are you downstairs right now? You got
I mean, I just came in the front door of the Blackleaf Inn.
Yeah, she gets wide-eyed. She's obviously new at the inn, but she thinks she just hooked her big customer for the day. You know what I mean? Her eyes are wide. She's got you there. She's bringing you tankers of ale. She's really focused on taking care of you. She's got your clothes up by the fire. It's a roaring fire. It's warm. You were drenched to the bone. And she's coming down the stairs to tell you, I've got your room. And then all of a sudden you hear the doors swing open.
Okay.
Blasted wench. Wouldn't let us in here. And those three guys are stumbling in to there. Have you got a place for our horses? And they're drenched and they're just dropping mud all over. Of course, he's was half caked with mud. All right. So the lady, her jaw drops, right? She's got the ale in her hand coming down for you to bring you another one. And she's like, I got your room ready, sir. And then she runs to the other three and don't know what to do. She seems frazzled right now. And she's trying to take their coats and they're cursing and being ludicrous, and she's finding them a place. She's getting in a dour mood right now, and it's still pouring outside, right?
Right.
Okay, they're taking their stuff off, and they're looking over, and one of them, in the clarity of this light, he notices you.
Yeah.
And it's the guy right there.
Right.
And he's looking at himself and in his pocket, and he kind of pushes her away over the shoulder backs, and he starts walking up to you. I believe you have something that's mine.
And what is that? Want? I stand here with a blanket. What could I have of yours?
I stand here without coin.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You've mislaid your coin.
Yes, in your filthy fetching fingers.
How much coin was it?
He's quiet. And he looks around for a second. And he goes, it was enough. It was enough. Let me see what you have on you.
You will not see what I have. Who are you?
We shall see what the sheriff has to say.
Let's go fetch the sheriff.
I am an emissary of Von Mort.
Oh, then please fetch the sheriff.
And then he's reaching around to check in his bag that was there on him or whatever. And he seems a little bit frazzled, and then he turns in a huff and leaves outside. And you hear the door slam, and he's standing out in the rain. All right. So he's about to go track down whoever. The other two, he seems to be the real hothead of the other two. All right.
Okay.
So they're sitting there, and they sit down, and they're letting the lady take the garments off of them. Sure. And she's hanging them up by the fire, and she's asking what they need. They're still kind of almost laughing and snickering at him.
Sure.
They have coin on them.
Sure.
And they're paying.
Okay.
But anyway,
so I'll head up to the room that she's told me about, and I will, once I'm in the room, I'm going to look about, being the villain and outlaw that I am, and I'm going to look for a secure place to hide this bag of coin.
Okay. In it, by the way, you have about 32 copper.
Okay.
All right.
I will keep out just enough to pay her for the room and the food and the bath. And then I will take the bag itself with what's left and I will find a spot. If I have to pop up a floorboard and drop the bag of coin into the floor, and then I'll hammer it with my dagger back into place, securing that coin in the floorboards. And I'll keep out just enough to pay her.
You do that, and with the rain slamming like it is, you don't have to necessarily be too quiet about it. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yeah, without that, in about 20, 30 minutes, you've secured it. Right.
And then I will climb into bed with a blanket, and I will go to sleep anticipating being awakened by this fool and the sheriff.
Okay. All right. Do we want to switch now?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Meanwhile, Martin leads you up and away into some crags with the horses that remain, what baggage they had on the horses, your mule. He climbs off, sweating profusely, and he walks past you and then circles. He paces a few steps, shakes his head. He says, we were lucky to get away from there. I think we should probably ride on through the night. I don't think it's wise to camp on this mesa.
I defer to what you say. The further away we are from those barbarians, the better. Let us move. Are you all right, Bill? And I straighten the horse's mane or whatever. It'll be okay, boy.
You need to ride the horse and pull Bill. He begins to take the saddles off the other horses, and he begins to take off the baggage, and he puts them down on the ground. And then once he gets the horses free of all the baggage and everything, he smacks them on the butt and sends them off into the woods.
Yeah.
And looks at you and says, we cannot travel with all these horses. He then begins to dig and bury the saddles. He pulls up 2 of the saddlebags, throws one on your mule, one on his horse, and one on your horse. That'll give him all the saddlebags. And then he looks at you and says, now we ride. And you must hopefully with this mule, you can make ground. And so let's ride through the night. We're going to make a roll here, a couple of rolls. One first, you're going to roll on behalf of your leader who is guiding you. You're going to need a mind 10 plus. And then we're going to have to make a body check on this horse to see if you stay seated in the saddle here.
13 and 13, twice.
Fantastic. So through the night, you ride. You come over a rise about 2 a.m. He gets off the horse and he points back down the mountains and the hills. Now at this hour, you don't see any. There's fog. There's a mist, but you don't see any dots of fire. He's sweating profusely. He's very tired. He looks at you and he says, "We have moved far enough from the invaders. I don't think they've come this far north. I think we are past that particular worry. They are not this far north yet." He looks about and he says, I think we eat, let the horses rest, and maybe catch a nap before we head toward rising. What say you?
I think this is wise. Bill needs to rest anyway.
There it is.
I go over there to the Bill and make sure he's got enough feed,
Right.
Whatever I can find around the area,
So you eat. Let's go ahead. You're a little fatigued. I don't think your wound will heal yet without a full night's rest. You've had some food, but I don't believe that wound is going to heal without direct treatment. So either you can tempt it or right as far as your wound. Even with nourishment, you haven't had a real good night's sleep, right? You've been going now for a couple of days.
I'm ragged. I just want to reach there before, so I'll just rest.
So let's make a fatigue check here for both of you. I'm going to have you roll your body, and we're going to roll your luck for him. So you need a 15 plus for both. Your body to see if you fall asleep.
Body I fall asleep. Yeah. 10.
Okay, and he's 15 plus, but with your luck.
No, 7.
Okay. So at some point, you awaken, realizing you can feel the warm sun on your face. You both have fallen asleep, and you both awaken as the sun's up, and it's burned the fog off. It's probably 6:37 in the morning. He jolts awake in a way, waking you up. He stands. He looks about. The horses seem fine. The mule seems in good place, and he's on his feet. And he says, and he kicks your boot. Come, we have fallen asleep. Damn, we must get on the road. And he's on his horse.
Okay. I'm getting myself up. I had to sleep on the ground, so I'm all stiff and everything from my old body. So I get up and then I go over to Bill and prep him, tie him to the horse, and silently, quiet, but with a focus on what we're going to do, that we're running late. So I'm a little bit discombobulated. I slip up on the horse and I go forward. All right.
Okay. And he, again, at this point, you have passed the landslide and the mudslide. So he leads you back toward the road. About 9 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours, you hit the road, which is still it's a dirt road. I mean, it's not paved or anything, of course.
Yeah.
And now you're riding smooth. But about noon, you find your horses rearing. They will not go further as they rear and whinny. They come down and they pull away from the northern direction. He's barking at his horse and spurring the hell out of his horse as it is disobeying him. Your mule is flat-headed, and again, it is screaming and whinnying, trying to pull away from your horse. Your horse is rearing, so you'll have to make a body check for me to not be thrown from the horse here.
It's net 20.
Okay. So not only are you not thrown from the horse, you see why. Coming out of the trees onto the road about 100 yards from you is a giant monstrosity of a humanoid, 12, 15 feet tall. You've never seen anything like it. It is some kind of giant monstrosity, some grotesque creature steps out of the woods. Clearly, so you're able to keep on the horse, and also in doing so, you see this giant step out of the woods.
Jeez.
And he's lumbering toward you. He'll make this 100 yards up in a couple of, pretty quick. Martin doesn't appear to have seen it as he's spurring his horse. He's trying to get his horse under control.
Okay, I'm screaming, Martin, and then I'm hitting the horse or whatever, trying to go in the opposite direction. Try to go into, maybe, is there a tree line to where I can get into?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to weave my way through the tree line, off the road. Yeah.
Okay. As long as you're heading away from this thing, your horse will jump into gear. Your donkey will jump into gear. Martin still reeling and trying to kick. No, this way to Rising. When he finally sees him, and then you can see the horse rear again. Make a luck roll for him, sir, as he is shocked by this. He might well get pitched off his horse.
With my luck, that's 10.
Okay, so he holds on tight. The horse comes down and he kicks him and spurs him in your direction, and he's riding hard for the tree line toward you, screaming, "My God, man, what is that?" And he rides past you into the trees, full bore on his horse.
Jeez.
This
I'm just trying to outrace the thing, not looking back. I know I'm towing the bad thing is I'm towing Bill, and he's got the parchment inside of his belongings.
Right.
Oh, geez. I take a chance, and I'm reaching back, and I untangle Bill from the stirrup on the back of the horse. So I'll let him go.
Okay.
And I try to veer off in a different direction.
Then Martin?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just trying to split, you know what I mean? Split the party.
You want to go split north, uphill toward Rising, or downhill back the way you came?
I'll split north. All right.
Okay. So you break off into the trees as you both race out into the trees. At some point, you break north uphill on the horse with the
Right.
donkey too.
I'm gonna try to. Well, yeah, I've let the donkey go. I'm running it back to let him
Okay.
go if I can significantly, and then
Okay.
branching off to go north. Maybe the donkey
Okay.
will go south, but I want to go back around, loop back around, basically.
Yeah, you ride, you do indeed do all of that. You finally come to a rise, a natural rise, where you can kind of pull the horse to a stop and look down back over the road and the mountainside, and you can see it, its head above the trees. It's almost like if we walked among tall grass,
Good God.
you know, pulling it and looking, you see this giant pulling trees as it's stalking toward the direction you guys went. He's not looking up the mountainside toward you at all. You're seeing him. He's above these trees, and he's just folds these giant trees over like grass, like we would tall grasses, looking about. You don't see, you can't see Martin from here, but he was riding pretty hard straight east. So it's conceivable that he's still riding east, right?
Okay, I'm going to get underneath and spur my way back to back down that path and look for Bill to see if I
Okay.
can see him anywhere, and I'll be calling out for him too.
Okay, let's make a luck roll on that
All right,
as you call for Bill.
that's 18 total.
Yep. He appears to have been following you best he could the whole time. So as you spin around and start heading back down, it's not long before there he is. He was going to follow you anyway, right?
Okay, I think, thank God, and I cross myself and whatever, and reach over there and grab Bill and lean over the horse and half hug him like that. Follow me, boy, and while I'm grabbing his reins.
Okay.
And I'll tie him back up. Let us go, and I urge the horse back up the hill. Okay, to get
Okay.
to the top again. Look over my shoulder, see where the beast is, the giant.
Yeah, you see he stops somewhere. Probably you can see where he's stopped, and you can see him bend over a couple of times, and then he'll come up with a handful of mud and rock, and he'll throw it away, and then you see him reach down. Like he's like he's trying to grab something, and he keeps grabbing handfuls of mud and dirt and trees.
Just missing his target.
Yeah, he's missing his target as he's and then you see him like stumble forward, reaching down, and you can see he's yelling. You can hear echoes of him yelling and roaring as he's trying to grab something.
Well, if I'm on that rise, I'll look around. He's the only one I see obviously doing this. So I'm looking in the direction of rising, right? Mm-hmm. Do I see the town from this vantage?
You can see, again, it's a road up. You can probably see evidence of smoke, evidence of haze over what would be a city.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll urge
but you can't quite see with the mountain, as the mountains undulate up. You can't quite see anything yet.
But at least in my mind, I know that there's a
Well, you know this road north heads to Rising. You know that, right?
Gotcha. I'll stay on it, and I'm urging the horse. I feel like once I'm past this area, I'm a little bit in the home free area. As far as where the barbarians are encamped. Not totally relaxed, but Ethelwell knows where Rising is. So
well, Ethelwell's dead.
I mean, the other dude.
Martin. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I honestly thought you meant Ethelwell. Yeah. Martin would know. Yes. Okay.
But
yeah, you ride for about 45 minutes to an hour, and you can see it come into view. It starts the climb up into the Norwich. Again, this area of the country starts as foothills and slowly climbs up into the mountains, and then eventually it'll level off. And eventually it does. It levels off onto like a mesa. You can see the palisade walls, a wooden earthen structure of what is called Rising. You pass a wheel, which is a tall wooden structure. You can see the water cranks that as you pass it, you've seen mines before. That's the wheel. That's where they go into the mine. And as you pass it, you see there's the water wheel's not spinning. There's nobody here. And it's strange that the mine would have no activity, even at midday, because it's about midday. And you ride on about another 30 minutes. You pass people outside, but not a lot of people on the roads. Not a lot of people camping outside the walls. As you get to the main doors of the palisade, they are shut, and there are guards on the top of the walls looking over. As you approach, you hear him bang, and you hear him call down, "Oh, open the gate, we have a traveler." And they open a smaller door inside this gate,
Yeah.
And big enough for you to duck through with your horse and your mule as you ride into the courtyard. They
Okay.
secure it behind you, and they 2 or 3 soldiers and onlookers of the city come down and around your horse, and they say, "You have come from where, my friend? Where have you come from?"
I've come from Spain originally, but right now I'm on a message. I'm on a mission for Geralt.
Yes, yes,
And
but did you not? Did you? How did you get here? From? Did you come
he
from the north, the
he's
south?
we came from the south.
Did you? Did you not see the giant, the beast?
I barely escaped with my life.
Ah,
It followed one of my comrades off to the
ah.
east. I
They
do
all,
not
they
know if he
all.
has made it. He has made it, but we were assailed by several of the barbarians that lie between here and Badenburg. Or it's Bartlestown, right?
They furrow their brows. We have heard tales of Northmen, but we have never seen them.
They
God forbid they come this far north.
they
One of the soldiers points through the city, and he says, you will find our king's manse straight ahead north through the city. You will come to
it
it."
is good. I carry an urgent message, and then I'll get off the horse and then hand the horse to them to be tended to,
Mhm.
and walk to the back where Bill is right before I let him go with them too, and I'll reach in
Mhm.
there and grab the parchment,
Okay.
and hide it and carry it with my robes and walk straight to there to
Okay.
gain audience, and then I'll address the person at the
Yeah,
hall.
the doors are open. As you approach, somebody steps, a guard, steps enough to let you know you need to address them, and he talks to you,
Yeah,
asks you, uh, what is it you need, sir?
I'm but a humble merchant, but through my passing through Badenburg, the the king there bade me to bring you a letter. I have it here,
Okay,
and uh, anyway, I produce it to him
right.
and take a step back and bow. Right.
Okay. Yeah, he steps aside and says, "Yes, go in. You will find a servant who will lead you to the Lord."
Okay. Okay. All right. It's not him.
So as you come in,
Yeah.
sure enough, he points out like a servant, maid servant. She
Okay.
comes over and nods. She's overheard the conversation, and she leads you back through this main area to a back wooden step that takes you up to the second floor. As you walk down behind her, following, you can look off and see below you the main hall as it overlooks an open. She takes you to the back. It opens into a large chamber. The doors are open, and you see he's here at a table, and he overlooks kind of on a wood balcony over the city and over the gate you came in.
Okay.
He sits looking out in that direction. He has 2 of his advisors, most likely, as they are dressed in robes.
Yeah.
They
I hold
stand quietly, attentively behind him as he looks over the land before him.
my
Uh,
my step when I walk in. I kind of clang it a little bit to get her attention, and while I slide down and kneel. Okay. I look a little rough or wear, but my good garments give me a little bit of a
okay.
of a
He's
boost there, and I look up. May I approach your liege?
he spins around when he hears the clank, and he looks about and sees you're kneeling, and he looks at his 2 men and waves them away. The girl nods, and she kind of backs away and leaves you. Uh, and he doesn't tell you to rise. He says, "Look at me.
Okay. I look up.
What is it you need? Where are you from? I saw you come in the gate on a mule, with a horse and a mule."
Yes, I've lost several companions that that led me here for the purpose of bringing you word from the king of Badenburg.
Ah, Gerald. Yes,
Gerald,
yes. Come,
yes.
come, get up. And he as you approach.
Okay, I'll hold my hands up like this and
Mhm.
grab the parchment and approach him with my eyes down a little bit
Mhm.
and hand it to him.
And he'll take it. He looks you over good. And then he looks at the wax seal over, pops it loose. He goes over and sits at his table, pops it open, unrolls it, and he reads it. They acquire our assistance. They do not know what duress we are in here. Do you know what this says, man?
I have not read it, sir, and he did not tell the details to me.
Mm. I suppose you are to return with my answer, are you not?
Good sir, I know that there was no need for me to return as far as I was informed. My intent was to come to Rising to set up a trading house, if possible.
He looks back down at the scroll. He turns it around and points his finger in the second passage. Are you Incognalia?
Why, yes, sir.
Here it states that you will deliver this message asking for aid, and that you will then return with an answer as soon as possible. Did you not know this was the agreement?
I assume, sir, that my comrades would return with the answer, but I am the only one left. Here, I do have hopes that one name such as Martin would be here too, but we were assailed by some kind of monstrosity on the hillside.
Yes, it is our curse. It is our curse, and it rampages these walls, and it rampages my people. Yes, this is why the answer for your Lord can only be no, as we can't spare any army to help him with the raiders. And he begins to scribble out an answer. And he says, I want you to read this before you take it. And as you read it, it says exactly that. We are under our own duress. We are dealing with a creature that is ungodly. We cannot aid you if we could even get there. And he writes in it that Incognalia will surely address you with this correspondence. And then when he realizes you finish reading it, he pulls it away, rolls it up, and seals it with his
I
seal.
stand there slack-jawed and said, but sir, I barely made it here alive. I wish to serve, but I am but an old man. I can't do this alone. I had to have companions with me on the way here, and they were waylaid in part by the barbarians, the Northmen, the sea peoples that range in between your kingdoms.
Yes, man. And don't you think all men in these trying times endanger and risk their lives to do for their lords? Are you telling me you will not return to your lord with this parchment?
I sigh and look down and say, if it must be, it must be. And I kind of look defeated at that moment. And then
here, man.
I
Here,
snake my
here.
hand out.
Here. Rest. Get good night's rest. Get tended to your wounds. You are bruised and battered. I see blood upon your shoulder. And you made it this far. God is clearly keeping an eye on you. You will be fine. And do right by your Lord and by my advice, and you will come out unscathed. This is your place.
I cross myself and say, the Lord wills. And I grab it and turn around looking for the girl to lead me away to some kind of,
You are a man of God. Then you must stay at the monastery in town below. They will say prayers with you, and they will feed you and bathe you, and they will clean your wounds. It is good to see you are a man of faith.
That's when I realized that the wound is leaking still through the through the tunic. And I grab my shoulder and I turn around on my heel, 180, as you wish, sir. And I look for the girl to lead me on.
Beverly, take this man. He is a man of he is a man of importance as he delivers messages among his lords. He will undertake a very dangerous journey to return to Babenwood tomorrow. lead him to the monastery and introduce him to the monk Gerald. And Gerald will he will know what to do with him. Do you understand? And Beverly, yes, yes, my lord. And she, as she passes you, she grabs your shirt and kind of pulls you quickly. And he turns out of the corner of your eye. You see him turn, step back out onto the balcony as he looks over. And you can hear the bells clang of the alarm. And you can hear him cry to his advisors as they all come running to look out. And you can only hear the bellowing of the creature and the banging of the walls. You can surmise from this that the creature has arrived at the gates and is attempting yet again to breach the gates.
Jeez. Okay. Now I noticed the time. You will switch back.
Yep.
Another thing.
Yep. Well, and as she leads you off to the monastery, screen swipe. Yeah. With the roaring of the beast.
Of the beast, just oh God almighty. All right. All right, you're laying there at night. You seem to be the rain, the drawing of the heavy rain has lulled you to sleep. You all probably have a complacent little smile on you from leading these fools and wild goose chases, right? Well, pretty soon you're gonna banging at the door, right? At your door of your room.
Go away! I need nothing.
Let us in.
Sheriff, is that you?
Yes, this is Danforth. Let me in.
So I creak out of bed, stand up, I pull the blanket tight around me, and I come over and I pull the door open. It was not locked, Danforth. Come in, come in.
Okay. He comes in.
I kick him with my foot. I kick out the chair for him, slide it out against the wooden floor, and say, "Have a seat, Sheriff."
Okay. He lights the candle over on the side, and he breaches. He opens up the paper, the scroll that you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this before?
Yes, I found it lying in the mud and muck during the fire and the brigade. I snatched it up and took it to the church to have it read.
Where did you find it exactly?
Where did I find it? Among the ground, out stomped by the chaos. I can't recall right offhand, and but tomorrow I can show you the place. Did you wake me for, you woke me to ask questions about something the monk, the father secured for Washburn?
Yes. The father did indeed take this to Washburn.
Oh, good.
But
so
the drunken lot, he approached me last night, bidding me to come he seems nervous, and he's to come deal with you for you stealing his property. He stated he was a emissary from
I did no such thing. I found the scroll lost about in the mud.
But you see,
you've known me, Danforth, for years. I am not a man. I would not. You would trust this stranger who is an emissary for Von Mort over me.
But you see, he became agitated and he tried to strike out toward me.
Oh, did you kill him?
Bothered. It was too. Hush, man! And he pushes you back a little bit.
You have killed the man.
And he puts his hand over your mouth. Mm. You shut up now.
That's. I pull away. It's fine by me. He was a rascal and a bastard. He must have deserved it.
But he was a messenger from Von Mort.
Then better he dead. I don't believe anybody will miss him. He was a mercenary bastard.
But this will throw us into chaos. We can afford.
Calm, Danforth. Does anybody know you have killed the man?
Where are his comrades?
They were here in the inn last night. I left them down, warming them bodies with the woman.
The woman.
Where is he? What have you done with him?
I took him to the church.
No, there are witnesses to the dead man. You know, there are ways
I did
that
not know
we
of his
can,
importance.
there are ways that we can get rid of a body, you fool. We could have gotten rid of it.
Okay, roll a dice for your.
Oh, 19. What do you want me to add to
Okay,
it?
you ain't gonna ask why.
19, baby.
Okay, there's a glint in his eye, and he looks at you. What ways? What ways? Do you?
So
And
where
he's
is
looking around
where is the
nervously
body
at the
now?
door.
Where is the body now?
I took it in the night and laid it behind the church. For the monks, I was.
Here is the drill.
They saw. I believe they saw me. Maybe not me, but I think one or two of the monks, the brothers, were up when I dropped the body. But they may have not known it was me.
And forth. We I have a plan. You escort me out of here as if you were arresting me for something. If they ask questions, what's that?
What will that do?
To get me out of here. And if they ask questions, you say you arrived here to arrest me for unrelated incidents.
Yes, go on.
Yes. Once we're outside, we wait until nightfall. You take me back to the church. I will take care of the body for you.
The church. They will have him buried by then. What do you propose to do? Dig him up?
Well, if they're going to bury him, then
then
we need not worry about it. They're going to bury him in a pauper's grave, in an unmarked grave. Do they know who the man is?
Yes, but his colleagues.
Well, as far as you know, he's just vanished. They won't know, will they?
The brothers, I said, they saw me, I believe, maybe
The
they
monks?
saw me. Yes, when I took the body and dropped it off on the doorstep.
But as sheriff, you can lay claim that it was in self-defense that you have or that you have found this man murdered.
That matters not if the man was telling truth, that he was an emissary from Von Mort. It does not matter. Does not matter. He did not have proof, but if you say that he was and his colleagues are here to validate it.
Well, you have the parchment. Does it not prove that he was an emissary from Von Mort?
Yes, and it proves that I made an unwise decision.
Danforth.
He gets up and he starts creaking and walking across the.
Danforth, it is now fully upon me, the weight and breadth of what you're under here. I do believe you should probably pack your gear and get out of Dredgewater. Run, fool.
Become an outlaw. I'm on the reef of Dredgewater. I have to talk to Washburn. He will know. I know. And he starts to almost walk out the door, and he turns around and he has this glint in his eye. He says, "Get up! I'm arresting you for murder." Right?
You are sick with the fever, my friend.
All right, hurry up! And he runs over to you, stands up. Is this not what you want?
Not for murder, my friend. I am not going to be arrested for the deeds you've done. I have witnesses that knew I was here all night. Think, Danforth. Your best solution now is to run.
Run.
Nobody suspects anything yet. Get on your horse, pack your gear.
Okay, roll the dice.
And run. 3. I don't know what I'm rolling for, but 3.
No, that's fine. Yeah, to convince him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, he turns on his heel in hysteria a little bit, and then you hear
Danforth.
He's running down the stair. Okay.
So I'm chasing him with this blanket around me. I chase him down to the front door, out away from earshot, into the boardwalk. Danforth, and I try to get his attention, stop him.
Okay. He stopped. He's already into the mud. He's off the planks, right?
Yep.
The muds
Yep.
are halfway up his boot. You can tell it rained so much.
Yep.
It looks like a marsh out there.
Right.
Okay. There's still
Danforth,
gray
Danforth.
clouds and there's still crackling and a light rain going on. And he turns around you and he looks and his eyes are reddish like that.
Yeah.
He turns
Danforth,
around.
do you know? Listen to me. I have resided for years in Dredgewater Downs before I came here. That is my name.
He's holding his,
Arthur of Dredgewater Downs.
he's like, I didn't know your name well enough.
There is a man there. He is a minor villain by the name of Barnabas. Go there and tell him I sent you. He will help aid you in your escape.
In Dredgewater Downs?
Yes.
All right.
And Danforth, you owe me one.
He has this uncertain look about his face and he turns around and he staggers off toward the area where the sheriff's area is. Okay.
Sure.
But he's not in the right. You can tell by he's not just pulling his feet out of the mud. He's like literally staggering everywhere.
Right.
And he gets to the door and you'll see him loop up on his horse and he takes off and the paper flies out. You'll see the paper fly out and land on the ground. Okay. And the rain start pelting it and it's half covered with mud, right?
Yep.
So you'll see him ride off. And
in the direction of Dredgewater Downs, where?
Yeah, in the direction of Dredgewater Downs.
Okay.
But it looks, I mean, he's up over there's a little rise, like I said, it goes down into like the church. So you really can't tell if he's going to the church directly or Dredgewater.
Right.
It'd literally be.
Sure. Either one. Right. Okay.
So that's
all right.
That's where you're at on that.
And we'll fade to black.
Yeah, fade to black on that. All right.
As the rain pelts the note from Von Mort into the mud.
Yeah. So
nice.
Awesome. You've hit all kind of seeds on that. Just as a recap, and that's finished, y'all. But there's one I just rolled. Oh, you hit a lot, man.
Yeah, you hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but one I could not activate. Let's see here. One I couldn't activate because it was directly related to Dredgewater. Because this adventure's assumes something, but you weren't in a position to get it. The other one was directly related to Barreltown, which is where the Vikings have taken over that town.
Yeah.
So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 2 I couldn't really put in front of you. And 1 I rolled 3 times. I rolled 15 3 times. So you should have had 8 seeds, but I kept rolling 15. And when I do that, I just keep playing.
I rolled like 3 or 4 of them the same.
Yeah.
I just keep rolling it.
Yeah.
But you hit. I had.
It sounds like you were using Tim's. Were you using Tim's?
No, I was using mine. The first one you rolled was Omen. I said blind beggar. I had somebody in. He was the one. He was the one in the stacks, and then I rolled right after that was Riders. So I had these 3, and I didn't really know who they were. Right.
Right. That's the beautiful thing. You got to make it up, dude.
So they got stuck in the mud right there. Now listen to this. When you said, what do I want to fetch at, trying to reach in there. Right. And I said parchment. Now I was just thinking parchment, maybe something else. It really wasn't premeditated on this, but this is what's interesting. Okay. You read after, I can't see it until you go in. There you go.
I just this is what our adventure. No one's gonna be able to see it. Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay, then you go sit down to read it, right?
Right.
And that parchment, one of the things you rolled was dead royal messenger, and it was a 12.
Okay.
Now I didn't activate the dead part, but it led me to at least explaining the parchment. That would clue you into that would have to be later. You know what I mean? So I switched that off. Then I read the hanging tree. When you was reading it, you escaped from that. It was dangerous.
Okay.
Fire was right after the hanging tree.
Nice.
So I had Dar Reynolds, murder and theft.
Nice.
And then
and you just tied it into the 3 writers. That's awesome.
No, well, I roll. I didn't get to activate uh, the Scarecrow Golem, which I had because you wasn't
Okay.
in a field. If you would have diverted off somewhere, it would have been appropriate to put up.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Uh, and I didn't get the last thing I rolled was Graveyard Flood.
Right.
Because I had in my mind, because the heavy rain's already hit. I had in my mind that those bodies that it would have made perfect sense. The body that they just buried probably was going to come up out of the ground in the marsh.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
That was the last thing I rolled. It was like tying together.
That's awesome.
You go, dang, that body's going to come right back up.
Yeah.
Just because I rolled Graveyard Flood. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. We have context and we know what we're thinking and dealing with. So it's not like it's just totally without context or right.
Yeah.
It is all grounded and it all ends up tying together naturally, totally naturally.
Yeah.
The first one I rolled was Northwich Alderman arrived. So when you met Gerald, he was arguing with the alderman who wanted aid for the Northwich.
Yeah.
So it's just that alderman arrives. Well, he had already beat you to Gerald and was arguing with Gerald about sending aid to Northwich, right?
Yeah.
Then I rolled Badenberg's well is dry. And so I introduced that as the peasants, right? And then I rolled, before that, I rolled Road to the North is blocked by rockfall, mudslide. And then you mentioned to him that you wanted to head north. And I said, well, he's going to tell you that. How do I get that in front of you? Well, he just tells you the road has been, wiped out by a mudslide. You'll need help. And we invent Martin as a guide to take you.
Yeah.
Right. And then because of the alderman demanding aid, he sends these soldiers and 3 guys with you to go on north to tell them he can't help them.
Yeah.
Right. So it all just it's all this living world where everything just makes sense.
Just ties in. That's what I mean. Just one thing leads to another.
And then I rolled ghastly disturbance at Barreltown. And that would have been probably some kind of supernatural ghost or ghast or something.
Yeah.
But Barreltown, that was only if you wanted to go to Barreltown to deal with the Vikings, or if for some reason you were captured and drugged there or something.
Yeah. No.
And then I rolled 15 2 more times, Northwich Alderman. And I introduced the beast based on our campaign sessions, our chronicles in which the beast is in Rising. I mean, in your guys' campaign, you went up there to investigate the beast. So I just put the beast in front of you, in front of your character here as evidence that this beast is out and about, right?
Oh yeah, that's freaking dangerous,
right.
Man.
So I just plucked him from the context of the campaigns that we're playing.
Yeah.
He's not in here, but you're going to Rising. So I'm going to use our campaign material and chronicle material to put the beast in front of you there.
Oh, I know. Right. It's cool. I had 2 others. I think you only didn't get to 2 because I only had 2 to 12, only 2d6.
Oh, right. Yeah. I had all 18. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking 2 hours, both of us just need 12. I did an antline trapdoor spider kind of hybrid or whatever that you could, fall into in a mastiff hound, a Talbot with rabies that could have been screwing with everybody in the farmlands. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of a Hound of Baskerville's type deal. So, but yeah, you hit everything.
That's pretty awesome. That's fun, man. And look at that. We were able to tag team GM there. I ran you. We screen swipe, same time, same universe, same world.
Yeah.
2 different characters. Doing 2 different things at the same time. It worked pretty good. I didn't
Poor
get confused.
Danforth, you guessed it, who was at the door. I know that guy said he was a hothead. You kind of just,
Right. Yeah, you can imagine that
I'm going to get the sheriff.
You can imagine that Danforth told him to go to bed, and the guy lost his cool. Right.
Yeah, because I'm thinking.
Well, I just assumed he came. I assumed the guy was with him, brought the sheriff back to bother me. Yeah. So I assumed he was going to be with the sheriff. That's why I said, "Is that you, sheriff?" Because I just assumed that guy made the sheriff come back, right?
Oh, that's what it was. But it was just a situation in my mind. It made logical sense that guy, kind of like in Tombstone when old boy got drunk or whatever, and then making a fool of himself out in the middle of that, and he had already gotten a hothead, obviously, at least painted that way. So it's like, he probably got the tussle there. Just roll to find out. Yep, he's dead.
So in our book, we will have 1-page modules or 1-page. I cannot. one-page adventure seeds.
Yeah, keep
So
it in
this
front of you.
describes everything from how you set it up, what the minor and minor dilemmas are, our random seed generator, any relevant NPCs that are of importance, and then any other information. So in our book, you will have, so this is one whole session, hopefully, worth of entertainment for our so when you buy the book, you'll have a whole bunch of these adventures to run before you make your own.
Yeah,
And this should be an entire, this could launch campaigns, it can launch sessions, it can be an entire night's worth of stuff on one page. So
yeah, that's even more detailed than what I did. There's a little bit more structure in that.
These are written for our, our people who purchase the book, so they have a lot more than just random seeds, right?
I went off of random seeds. If anybody sees the difference in the what is pronounced, like there may have been a time or two where you felt less direction or less goal oriented. That's because it was just going off seeds. But the major and minor dilemma that you had laid out, gave me more of a purpose or direction, or gave you know what I mean. That
because it's happening in the world.
Yeah, but I mean
the world's relevant to you as a GM. And one of the things about tag team like this is, as I present this dilemma, you certainly, all of that can still fuel you as GM on the other side of the table.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're sharing this whole world. It's a shared world, so to speak.
Yeah, I needed to get away from that thing. You said that beast was lumbering through there, just fee, fi, fo, fum. You said
a giant monstrosity of man's cursed desires to have power.
That's how I'm getting the heck out of here.
Yes.
Oh man, I know.
And Martin, you don't know. Did he make it? Did he end up giant food? What?
I said, yeah, he knows where to go. Yeah, keep chasing him. I'm gonna
right.
Go off to Rising myself.
The Vikings, by the way, they're part of the major dilemma, so I don't have to roll them on the seeds. That's part of the context.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that was part of the major
pressure.
Dilemma, defined that because they've raided and taken a city, and they're surrounding the local area and now harassing Badenburg, I don't have to roll up. They're in the region. You're going to run into, like Wandering Monsters, you're going to run into Vikings, right?
Yeah, it's a good addition to have the major and minor dilemmas.
Yeah. So what it does is it gives context to the GM to run a game like you normally would, but then we try to use the random seeds to keep the game constantly alive.
Momentum rolling forward.
Yeah, because players then can say, I'm getting the hell out of here. And it ain't going to wreck your thing for the players to say, I'm getting the hell out of Badenburg. Well, you're going to roll random seeds that are constantly introducing interesting things.
Yeah, and even if you have to put a pause on a random seed because it's not appropriately in the area, like I said.
Exactly.
I said Scarecrow, Gollum.
Yeah.
No,
we're just creating a way for players to never be railroaded, but we're still giving context to GMs, setups, context, and tools to keep going no matter what the players do. So the players will never feel ultimately railroaded, right?
Yeah.
Or the GM won't feel like, damn, I got to steer them back to the only thing I have here, which is Badenburg, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's set up really well. And like I said, even in the example where I broke up the dead royal messenger. Mm-hmm. And so I literally rolled that, but I couldn't implement it fully. Mm-hmm. But when you sat down with the parchment, but it made the writers the messenger, to tie those two together, where they could have been totally opposite in another game. You could have encountered a dead royal messenger on a road somewhere.
Yep.
What are you going to do with the info?
Yep. Absolutely. And I mean, they had to investigate murders even back then. I'm sure they investigated bodies that were, murdered and found, right?
Yeah, like in the name of the road.
So I mean, it could have literally been an investigation of a dead royal messenger.
Well, actually, that was one of the things I was thinking of, how we would add mystery or investigation to it a little bit by adding that, like in the name of the roads or something where you have, investigation as to go on. So that's why I put that in there.
Yeah.
But it is good to add the dilemmas as well.
Well, yeah, the dilemmas are going to give a theme. So I talked about this in one of my videos about theme. So all the dilemmas are in this, we call them dilemmas, a major and a minor dilemma, but they're just themes. The theme of this one is the Vikings are here and they've taken over a town and they're looking to expand into Badenburg. That's just a thing that's should be in the session all the time. Vikings are out and about, dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Now, the danger could get worse depending on what I roll on the random seed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Minor dilemma is local peasant hunters find old Roman ruins. It's a minor dilemma, but it's another theme. It's another theme that could arise if you're out and about, you guys could stumble across these old Roman ruins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So basically, our dilemmas set the context and the theme of the whole session, and then it doesn't have to be a goal or a plan, but the GM knows that, okay, right now this is the surrounding problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I much rather give people information than give them a plan. Yeah, because exactly. I don't want GMs to think they got to go from A to B to C to D to wrap up the story, right? I don't want them to think they got to go, well, now we got to take them from chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter. So no. They just give them themes, give them a context of what's happening in the world.
Dilemma shows you what's happening in society on a larger scale, and
it should come up. The dilemma is on the minds of everybody. So when you go to the king to say, hey, we want to go treasure hunt over blah, 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 the king's going to say, what are you, fools? We need your bodies to go fight these Vikings. You're conscripted. I mean, it's a theme that could constantly mess up the players' plans too, because everybody in this region is terrified of the Vikings, right? It's a theme. The theme is we got a big problem here, invading Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a neat tool for our adventurers to have, right?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Oh, I believe, it is. 100%.
But you don't need it. I mean, my God, you and I ran how many sessions of Naive Narrator and never had anything but a random seed chart like you did tonight?
Yeah, like I did. I'm just saying that was a good example to show you the two different styles. Because
did you like changing up tag team?
Yeah, that was fine. I wanted to see if it was versatile enough to do that, and it didn't really bother me. It would just be like, okay, I'm in character now.
Yeah.
And going back.
Oh, the game system is so easy. It's so easy entry, so simple. There's no reason we can't do. There's no reason you can't split the party and have 2 players in London dealing with something while 2 other players are in Dredgewater dealing with something.
Yeah, it's as simple as all get out.
It's screen wipe. So there's nothing about our rules that makes splitting the party unduly more dangerous, right?
But it definitely it's something unique to be able to GM each other in a game. Both be presenters.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah,
and go back and forth. It's just not typical. So. Yeah, that was a good good test. Good test.
It was fantastic. Well, thank you, my friend. I didn't plan on being able to play at all this weekend, but the time you were starting and the amount of time we could devote, I was able to get free to do this. So
squeeze in a little fast play. Yeah.
So I had not planned on having any time over the last couple of weekends, but this kind of worked out. So
glad it did. Gave me a little break too before work tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Gosh, yeah. All right, my friend.
All right.
Have a wonderful weekend.
All right. And everybody who stuck this far, thanks for watching.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you, brother.
We'll check you later. Thank you.
I'll talk to you in the next couple of days. Bye.
All right.